Hello, my name is Jerry Simon, and I'm here to tell you about my 1993 Bonanza A36 November 8293 Mike. I purchased this airplane in 2005 from Carolina Aircraft from George Johnson, the Bonanza man. I'm a very conservative pilot, and George and Carolina Aircraft have a great reputation for selling high quality Beechcraft Bonanza planes, and so that's where I went when I decided I needed a Bonanza. Since I purchased this plane, well, maybe a little bit on the history. This plane was owned by Progressive Insurance and was in their corporate fleet. They had other airplanes. I think this plane was the chairman's plane, and I'm not sure if it was just corporately flown or if it was his personal aircraft, but it was maintained at the highest standards when I purchased her in 1993.
Okay.
So I've owned 8293 Mike, made a lot of improvements to her, both interior, avionics, but also just all of the major systems of the plane. I'll start with the front here. At the end of 2011, to put on everything basically firewall forward. Purchased a brand new, factory new IO 550 directly from Continental. Quick, and I'll just kind of let you see it. So this is factory new Continental IO 550. Obviously, Continental sells factory remans. I opted for the brand new engine. Obviously, I really thought this would be my last aircraft. You'll probably hear me say that several times. But our missions changed. We purchased a TBM, and so that's the only reason that we're really selling this airplane. The engine today has about 118 hours on it. It does come with a factory warranty for 2 years from the time that you actually put the engine in service. So my recollection is that's early December or late November, so there's at least 1 year of warranty left on the engine, so a factory new engine. And you'll also notice that the Shannon baffling really helps to keep the engine cool over the factory baffling, and I think also makes it a little bit more quiet. But a very, very, it's nice having a brand new engine. As we come this way, I think notice great paint. All these are the factory vortex generator. Until we get to the tip tanks, these are the Osborne 20-gallon aluminum tanks, and I purchased them about 2 years ago. With also did the option for the LED landing lights and strobe lights, very, very bright. These tanks are 20 gallons each. Everything that I've done to the plane has really come out of necessity. Let me talk about that. In 2011, I flew 31 Angel Flight missions, and I loved doing that. I ended up getting the tip tanks because I was flying and had a Northern, flew it out to pick up taking somebody, and then I flew back with somebody else, and I had a 75 knot headwind, and icing was kind of filling in behind me on this flight, and I just said, you know what, I never want to be, I want to have options. I want to have extra fuel. 2 hours of flight time equates to about a 1,500 nautical mile range. People always ask me, what's the range of the airplane? I say 1,550 nautical miles, but my wife's range is about 3 hours. So, gentlemen, think about that. So, beautiful paint. Obviously, when had the tip tanks installed, also had the paint coordinated for the tip tanks, and added some striping and really freshened up the paint that is the Jet Glow paint. Murmur Aircraft did that. Murmur Paint here in Houston Southwest Airport. So a beautiful, beautiful aircraft. You'll also notice the G&D inserts, window inserts, which keep the plane cooler. lots of antennas. This is a WAS-equipped aircraft, so Garmin 530, 430 with WAS. I've also added Garmin Active Traffic. Actually did that this year, and you'll notice the dual antennas, and when we walk around you'll see dual antennas also underneath the plane. That is an option which really increases your traffic awareness. Again, active traffic with Garmin is really, really important, because unlike the traffic information system, which comes on the Garmin 330, active traffic not only tells you that you've got traffic, but it shows it to you on all three screens, which you'll see, but also gives you position reports. Having the additional antennas above and below really expand your traffic awareness. This is all about situational awareness. 2011 added the new ELT. That's what that antenna is, and that's the GPS ELT. So again, beautiful paint. The plane is hangar kept. We're standing right outside my hangar. No corrosion. The plane is actually immaculate, both inside and out, and we'll take a look at that as well. So walking around, in fact, you might look on this side, you can see the paint probably a little bit better, and you see the great colors that are metal flake in the tail, and that also comes to the follows the stripes, the swoosh stripes on the side of the plane, and all the way to the cowling. So 8293 Mike has really had a wonderful transformation since 2005, and all of this didn't happen at once. I've done it over time, but when I did the engine and the prop, as I added the Shannon gap seals, they say it's good for a couple of knots of extra speed. And once again, I make no warranties or representations about that, but it does fill in the gaps on the underside of the wing, and just kind of makes for a smoother airfoil, which obviously that's less drag and should equate to a faster airspeed. By the way, I flight planned this plane conservatively at 170 knots. I've flown this airplane and my wife and family. We've gone to Virginia, we've gone to the West Coast, to Santa Barbara. I fly a lot for business, fly customers, well, fly to go see customers, I guess is a better way to say that. But really, put my full faith in everything about this aircraft. The aircraft is maintained here at Houston Southwest Airport. Parker Aviation, they did the engine install and the prop install and have done all the maintenance. And it's been such a wonderful setup for me, because basically if there's a squawk on the airplane, I land, I get home, I send an email to Parker Aviation, and the next day, if possible, that squawk is corrected. So no deferred maintenance on this airplane. Everything has been maintained, really no expense spared to keep this plane as safe as possible and at the highest level possible. The interior was done in 2010. A lot of Bonanzas have plastic for this wood trim. This is all wood veneer. You see, great. This is navy blue carpet. When I did the interior, all leather headlining, everything. The windows are all leather wrapped. This is about as nice of an interior as you can possibly get. This was really kind of, I would say, a King Air type of an interior. Very, very pretty, very functional. This is the table. Obviously, you've got a lot of functionality here. All this was new. The table that came with this year model was actually kind of a light wood, and I'm a nut for dark wood, and added a coat rack, which doesn't come with a little coat hanger, which doesn't come with most Bonanzas. But again, everything leather wrapped, pre-wired for Bose headsets, either normal type headsets or the pin connection. Lots of headroom. This is an air-conditioned airplane. Everything is really in the tail of the plane. AC blows through these vents, and battery turned off, but obviously a very, very comfortable first class, something you would be proud to take your family, friends, and clients in this aircraft. Just beautiful, beautiful finish. The back of the plane, I'll just pull the seat forward, and you can see the luggage space back behind seats 5 and 6. I'll include with this aircraft the Redline Aviation, forget what they call that. I think they call it a stiffy, but great little tow bar. Actually, usually I keep that behind the seats, but again, you can hang up your clothes there. As you know, on a Bonanza, I'm going to put this down, and to make room for luggage is very, very simple. You pull the strap forward and you just hook it, and both of these seats are very easily removed. But a lot of flexibility with an A36. As an Angel Flight pilot, this is a great airplane for getting people in and out. I've carried people 93 years old, and we'll have a step for them to step up, but they can easy access for your passengers getting in and out. And again, the GD window inserts are the best you can buy, and very, very comfortable. Well, this is the interior of my A36, and the first thing that you'll notice is a very, very well equipped panel. When I bought the plane in 2005, it had, I think, one Garmin 430, and I've subsequently added the 530 and the GMX 200, the EDM 830, altitude pre-selected. I'll just kind of talk about how I use these things. I guess starting on the pilot side, you've got DME. I've got a standby electric attitude indicator, which is called the Lifesaver by Mid-Continent. I love this little box because it's electric versus vacuum. It's got its own battery backup, so if you lost, as you know, on a Bonanza, there are two really vacuum or pressure systems, and if both of those fail, which is highly unlikely, you've always got an electric attitude indicator, and I'm real big on redundancies. So this has a battery backup. Vacuum fails, you've always got that to fly. Also the BFG Storm Scope, which is wonderful. I've added, and we'll talk about the autopilot. This is the King KFC 150, and I've added the altitude pre-select, which allows me to dial in an altitude and arm it, and then put in a vertical speed of 600 feet a minute, arm it, and so now if I was to take off, the plane would be flying at 600 feet a minute, and it would capture the 5,000 foot altitude that we've entered. Moving to the right, well, first, just holistically at the panel, I've replaced, every time I've done an avionics upgrade, I actually replaced the original panel. So this is an OEM panel from Beech that when we did this massive increase in avionics, we wanted to not have all these patchwork different sections, so I just purchased a whole new panel. This is really just a wonderful airplane. So the GMX 200 it's a multi-function display. This has all of your chart view. So you've got all of your approaches. You've got maps both for VFR. You got your IFR charts. I'll kind of put this out so you can see the airspaces. Obviously, you've got Victor Airways, which is very, very important, as you know, when you get those Victor Airways from ATC. This is Houston's airspace here, but it's wonderful, wonderful competencies. I can see my flight plan, which I don't think is active at the moment because we're sitting in the hangar. But I've also got active traffic. We're going to talk about that again. We're inside a hangar, so traffic's not displayed. But I do have the GMX, not GMX, the GTS 800 traffic from Garmin. I should have brought my notes, but the Garmin transponder is also has the extended squitter for ADS and also TIS traffic, which I had, but I've updated with the active traffic. Garmin traffic is just outstanding in that it gives you not only the traffic alerts, but a voice will call out and say traffic 2 o'clock high, tells you where to look. Just a wonderful, when you fly in busy airspace, having active traffic is just really, really awesome versus the TIS traffic, which you lose in rural areas. So also have terrain and can do a lot of things with terrain. You'll see on this box, and again, I'm not selling Garmin stuff, but I want you to know all the capabilities, that you can do a split screen and you can say, you know what, I'd like to see a profile view of terrain. Now, this doesn't show much because Houston is at 55 feet sea level, but if you're flying into mountains or any kind of terrain, this will give you your position on the IFR chart or VFR chart, but now you also have a profile view by altitude, so you can see exactly where you are. Your terrain is color-coded, red, yellow, or green to indicate your clearance of the terrain that is out into the future. And again, you pan that in and out to see terrain. I'm going to pan out. Houston is very, very flat, so we're not going to see, you might see a slight, well, no, you really can't see it, perceptible change. Anyway, the GPSs are the Garmin 530 and 430. They are both WAS capable. They are WAS enabled, excuse me, a recent upgrade. Also have the roll steering, which, as you know, will allow you to, for the autopilot to fly the entire approach. Holds, this little autopilot will fly you the entire flight profile, enter a hold, it will fly the hold, and even bring you back to the numbers, although you're not authorized to do that. You can fly any LPV approach, ILS approach, localizer, and just wonderful capabilities for IFR flight. Many people, this is a pilot preference, but if I put this box on flight plan, a lot of pilots will have these linked together where if you make a change here, it updates the 430. I prefer to do glide slopes. I've even flown into some airports that have an RNAV approach and an ILS, and I'll have one set up on one or the other so that I've got great positional awareness both on the GMX 200 and each of the 530s. All of the boxes here also show weather. Just went by it. So we've got all of our weather that you would, there's no weather. It's a blue sky day, a little bit of weather out here. I can't believe we're picking this up in the hangar. But this is XM weather. You can also, from the moment you take off, I've got plugged in San Antonio as a destination. Again, you don't have to wait for ATIS to tell you what the weather is. I know that San Antonio is wind 170 at 5 and 10 miles visibility. Skies are clear. So lots of information. So you've got weather, you've also got your XM, which, by the way, all of this feeds on the 530 and the 430 and the GMX. So I can have basically one box on NextRad weather, or I could have it on terrain, or I could have it on traffic, and have, you know, complete 3 independent screens. Lots of capabilities there. The EDM 830 is like a wonder. I just added that this year. A wonderful capability. It's like having a flight engineer in your cockpit. I've got manifold pressure and RPM. I've seen these installed, and people have actually pulled out the round dials. I won't do that just because I like redundancy. But you've got a graphic display for everything that you would possibly need to know about your engine, your oil temp, your oil pressure, gallons per hour. These are all user, how much is remaining. These are all user settings, so you can display what you want to set. You can see the oil temp, and this is now starting to cycle. the oil pressure, and you can look outside temperature, fuel remaining. This is great because you've got fuel to destination, so you're never going to be not knowing what's going on with your engine. These are the individual cylinders which show the exhaust gas and head temps independently. So you get a great picture of what's going on with your engine all the time in graphic terms. So if there's a problem with the cylinder starting to get hot, you'll see it, it'll flash, and you'll know to start taking corrective action. Also got the new AirTex ELT that went in last year when they phased out the 121.5. So that's a GPS ELT. Just a very capable panel. Moving down, well, also obviously you see the co-pilot instruments. In this quadrant, you've actually got the fuel pumps for the wingtips. We'll talk about that, but they're independent. These are the premium gauges. So you've got individual sides. You just, basically start pumping, and it's really amazing. We carry 20 gallons a side, which gives you another 2 to 3 hours, depending on how you lean the engine, of flight time. And when your main tanks start getting low, you just turn these on, and it's like being refueled in the air by a military tanker. It transfers the fuel from the tip tanks to the mains. Here you see, again, I'm a big nut on redundancy and safety. This is the Garmin 796. This is my personal device, and basically this is hardwired into the plane. So if I input you see a message there, switch fuel tanks, because I've got a message that comes up every 30 minutes. The Garmin 796, you probably have your own Garmin. Basically this has its own weather, own charts, and is fed off of the flight plan from the 530. I carry this in every plane that I fly in, and what you see is this quick mount. I've had this installed. It's RAM mounts. If you don't use a 796, you can take this out. It's real simple, and just push the cables back down, but it's great to have redundancy. So a very capable panel. Trying to think what I've missed. To this side of the panel, you've got your independent fuel tanks here. If you're familiar with the Bonanza, you've got your prop heat here, all of your switches here. So you've got prop de-ice and pitot, your pitot heat here on the left. Also have installed the Keith air conditioner. We'll talk about that, but basically in Houston, Texas, you need AC. And I'm sitting here in a hangar and I don't have the AC running, but this thing blows. I'm going to turn on the fan so you hear it. I mean, it is a blowing machine. 2 evaporators, one in the back, one in the front, and ice cold air. So wonderful heat, wonderful environmentals in this Bonanza. Obviously the circuit breakers here, and then down to my left knee, the fuel tanks. You'll notice these message lights, probably going to be I was looking for a GPS, not looking for that. I've got my Garmin set up with same message there, with every 30 minutes reminding me to switch fuel tanks. So I'm a big nut about redundancy and messaging, and so very capable airplane. I think we've covered obviously map light, and just I've got these lights on, but a really great panel, great redundancy, pilot controls both for the rudders as well as the pilot side. I love this airplane, and I know you will as well. Thank you.